So my first question would be, how are preschools affected by this pandemic?
So, the lockdown started around the third week of March, okay? And uh, typically that's the period when most preschools would have confirmed their uh, admissions for the next year from students who are already part of the preschool in the previous year, right? So, which
Yeah.
means the playgroup children going to nursery or nursery children going to junior KG or junior KG going to senior KG. That process would have been largely complete. So most preschools would have got their confirmations from parents about whether they're going to continue into the next year or moving into a formal school. Um, However, the admission season was still going on, correct? Which is basically for new parents or new customers coming into the preschool space, taking admissions in either PG or nursery. So that whole piece related to new admissions was impacted quite significantly by the shutdown of preschools, because with preschools shutting down, parents uh, parents started to see a issue in terms of, if I'm not able to send my child to a preschool, then why do I need to take admission in a preschool? So I think across the board, what we have seen is that new admissions have been impacted significantly by the lockdown in the preschool industry.
Okay. And as a provider, what challenges are you facing, especially to firstly on the students' part, in a sense, imparting learning, as well as for parents to take in their confidence in online learning, especially for toddlers.
Yeah. No, so that's a good question, Kriparna. Um, See, I think immediately towards the end of May, when all the preschools had to shut down, the first question in our mind was, they were like in the south, the academic year um, uh, runs till May, and the next academic year starts in the month of June. So we still had curriculum to cover. We still had some part of the curriculum to deliver to the children, right? That
Yeah.
was one consideration in our mind. The second consideration in our mind was that now that all preschools are shut down and all the preschool toddlers are at home with no option of stepping out of home, no option to go on a play date, no option to go and interact with their peers, no option to come to preschool physically and interact with their teachers. One of the big things that we were worried about was, how do we ensure that there is some form of constructive engagement which continues with the children, right? So
Yeah.
I think as a organization, we immediately made the shift from the physical preschooling to the virtual preschooling. That's the shift which we made immediately. So across our preschools, we started engaging with our children through Zoom classes, through online classes, and the initial reaction was very, very positive, right? Parents started reaching out to us and saying that we must have some form of engagement with the teachers, and my children are missing seeing their classmates on a daily basis. Okay. Um, and what we know as a fact is that one of the critical things that preschools provide is that social engagement, which leads to cognitive development, which leads to social development of children. They develop by interacting with their peers on a daily basis. So we immediately started online classes in a limited way across all our preschools, and parents started giving us very good feedback, saying that you know um, children are looking forward to seeing their teachers on a daily basis and are looking forward to seeing their friends at least on screen for maybe half an hour or 45 minutes on a daily basis. Okay. So that was the immediate response that we did uh, to kind of respond to the challenges being thrown at us by the environment, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so and that continued. That continued through the month of April, continued into the month of May. We also got some feedback from parents saying that, beyond 45 minutes to an hour, it is difficult for preschoolers to sit in front of the screen and engage in activities, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, if there was a normal preschool, a physical preschool, we'll say typically start at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we'll carry on for 2.5 hours, right? The session for maybe playgroup or nursery will carry on for 2.5 hours. But we realized
Yeah.
that online, it was difficult to engage children for 2.5 hours because, given the size of the screen and given the kind of activities that you are able to do online, there was a limitation in terms of how much engagement that you can do with children. And there's also a limit to how much time a child of a preschool age can continue to sit uh, engaged in front of the screen. So what we did was to keep the online engagement to between 45 minutes to an hour, and then to start working with parents to give them activities and to give them exercises which they could do with their children in their own time, right?
Yeah.
So that was the second thing that we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, the other challenge that we started facing is that by this time, most organizations had also shifted to work from home, right? So
Yes.
when we had our online class schedule, which was published to all our parents, in quite a few cases, these online class schedule in the mornings would start clashing with the uh, work from home schedules of parents. And we have lots and lots of working couples who send their children to the Eurokids preschool chain. So both mom and dad are working from home. They both need their laptops or their devices to be able to connect with their work colleagues and continue their work. And at the same time, they had to attend the online class along with their preschool toddler, which also
Mm-hmm.
became one of the issues. Around the same time, you might have seen that there was a lot of discussion around, is screen time right for preschool children? How much of screen time? There was a big debate which was going on in the parent community
Yes.
about the adequacy of screen time for children, right?
Yeah.
Um, so there were a lot of concerns being raised about screen time for children. There were a lot of concerns being raised about convenience. People saying, it's not convenient for me to sit with my child in front of the online class because at the same time I have to do my work from home.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then there was also this whole thing about, my child is not sitting in front of the screen unless and until someone accompanies him. So the mom has to sit, or the dad has to sit, or the grandparents have to sit along with the child while the online classes are going on. So
Mm-hmm.
these are some of the challenges that were started to come our way. So we've been thinking about the fact that there are a certain set of parents who have continued with us through the online preschooling program,
Mm-hmm.
and they're quite happy to have their children attend the online classes on a daily basis or on a frequent basis. Subsequently, in order to also start providing more support to parents, we launched uh, our online app. It's called Home Buddy. So Home Buddy was launched, and Home Buddy gives a lot of resources to parents so that they can continue the engagement with their children at home, along with the online classes. So HomeBuddy was the app that we launched in which we would be conducting the online classes as well as giving resources to the parents so that the parents could use the resources to continue their children's education at home. So these were all the things that we did to face up to the challenges that the environment was throwing to us. But we also noticed that a bunch of parents actually dropped out of the entire preschool system, yeah, for various reasons. Like I said, concerns around screen time, Maybe they don't have adequate access to bandwidth. Maybe they don't have adequate number of devices at home. Maybe it's inconvenient for them to juggle online preschooling and work from home at the same time. So, um so all of these pieces put together led to a bunch of parents dropping out completely from the preschool system in the current year.
Mm-hmm.
So then we kind of started thinking about how do we kind of reach out to these parents, because for us, we are a purpose-driven organization. We want to make sure that we want to provide the best of education to children in the preschool age. Even the NEP has acknowledged that 85% of brain development happens between the ages of 0 to 6. So we are constantly worried about the fact that there are many preschool age children who are currently sitting at home with no constructive engagement at all. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, those parents are even not opting to come for the online classes. That's when we came up with the idea of launching a 100% offline. There is the online product that we have, which has got very good acceptance from a bunch of parents, and they're very happily participating. Children are enjoying the online classes, connecting with their peers, connecting with their teachers on a daily basis. But there are a completely another set of parents who dropped out of the preschool system, and we were worried about their children being at home and missing out on one full year of development and one full year of.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing how the preschool toddlers development happens during this period, and knowing that there are serious concerns about children being left behind at home for various reasons, is when we came up with the whole concept of the homeschooling program. So this is something that we've launched 2 weeks back, and the whole concept of the homeschooling program is very simple. There are no online classes in the homeschooling program. It's purely an offline product. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
is targeted at those parents who either have concerns around screen time, are concerned about a lack of availability of bandwidth or devices at home. Yeah, or are because both of them are working from home, find the schedule of online classes inconvenient for them, right? So
Yeah.
the way homeschooling program works is that we send a homeschooling kit to the parent when they enroll into the homeschooling program, and every week we send detailed daily instructions. So at the beginning of the week, the parent gets a set of daily plans saying, on Monday, this is what you need to do with your child. And it will be very detailed instructions, very easy to follow instructions, which will say, open this particular workbook, and on this page, you will find a set of activities related to the letter A. And at your convenience, sit down with your child and do this activity for, say, 45 minutes to an hour. And that is then help the child maybe learn about the letter A. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, next day, there could be an activity around a numeral. The third day, there could be some activity around some science topic, which the parent then does with the child as per their convenience. They can do it in the morning, they can do it at lunchtime, they can do it in the evening. Anytime they want to take up this kind of an activity is when they can do it. And the whole logic of bringing this product was that it doesn't require any screen. So there is no dependence on having to log into an app or watching any video or going onto a laptop. This is purely a set of books, a set of activities, and a set of instructions which are sent by WhatsApp or by email to the parent, and the parent can execute it at their own convenience. So that's the new product that we have launched. And also, we also realized that given the fact that there were concerns around screen time, given the fact that there were concerns around convenience, given the fact that there were issues around availability of bandwidth, there were also a feeling from parents saying that, I was paying a certain fees to the preschool earlier. Now that I'm getting only, say, 1 hour of online classes, this kind of a fees is no longer justified, right? So what we
Yeah.
did was that we've launched our homeschooling program for playgroup at 14,900 rupees for a 26-week program. And we've launched our nursery homeschooling program at 16,900 for a 26-week program. So it comes in at a very affordable price. It doesn't require any screen time. It can be done at the parents' convenience, and uh, the big advantage is that now this allows the parent to make sure that the child does not miss out on learning when it comes to literacy or language, numeracy or mathematics, and science, and it ensures that the child does not get left behind in terms of preparing for the next academic year, right? So these
Mm-hmm.
are all the steps taken by us, Triparna, to face the challenges that the environment has thrown at us.
And in is there any curriculum change in offline kids and this new online app that you're talking about, or does it encompass the same curriculum?
See, when it comes to the home engagement program via Home Buddy, the curriculum, I would say, is almost 80 to 90% the same. We follow the same structure. So we have themes and we have activities under the themes. So the curriculum remains the same. There are obviously some parts of the curriculum which we can no longer execute in the online space, right? For instance, we may have, say, if the child was coming to a physical preschool, they may do sand play, they may do water play, they may do some physical exercise. Some of those are no longer possible to do via the online space. So those are the only pieces which are no longer being delivered in the online preschooling program, correct? When it comes to the homeschooling program, yes, the curriculum again remains the same, but now the focus is on the basic skills of literacy, numeracy, or language, mathematics, and science. There are many parts of the curriculum which we cannot execute through the homeschooling program because it requires trained teachers to be able to deliver those instructions and do those activities. So the homeschooling program focuses on a subset of the same curriculum that Europe Kids is known for. And there the emphasis is on language, mathematics, and science. The online preschooling program, which is called the Home Engagement Program with the Home Buddy app, covers a much larger portion of the original curriculum because our teachers are the ones who are delivering it and they have the skill to continue to engage with the children in a much deeper manner.
Okay. And what about evaluation? Are the students evaluated, or do you have any plans for evaluation post 26 months, weeks, or something?
So, evaluation is never a very, unlike formal schooling where you will have tests and examinations, there is no concept of a test and an examination in the preschool space as it is, right? So, in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
preschool, the only thing that we do is that we observe the children and we give feedback to the parents on their developmental milestones, right? So,
Yes.
uh, in the online program, we do observe the children and we will give feedback to the parents. Also, we work very closely with the parents to have a ongoing dialogue with them to say, how's the child doing? Are they enjoying the classes? Are they making progress in terms of their milestones? Either and mostly now with online, the emphasis is on the skill-based milestones. Be it coloring, be it recognizing alphabets, being able to speak properly, diction. So these are all the milestones that we continue to track with parents in the online program. In the homeschooling
Yeah.
program, we're giving detailed instructions to the parents so that they can assess their own children's development. And the other feature that we have built into the homeschooling program is that, say, a parent turns around and says, you know what, by this time, my child should be able to sight read a few words, but he or she is not being able to sight read. Then we've created a facility by which the parent can reach out to the preschool teachers and have a conversation with them and take their guidance on how they can make sure that the child keeps meeting the developmental milestones. but there are no assessment of any sort in the preschool curriculum. We do more of
Mhm.
observations and we do more of tracking of developmental milestones.
Okay, that's fair. And what do you think after the school reopens? What are your plans? So for safety and other things.
So, uh, some of the phenomena that we are seeing in the preschool space right now is we are seeing a lot of the unorganized preschool shutting down because, of course, preschools have lost admissions. Fee inflow of fees has reduced drastically. So the ability of preschool owners to pay rent, to pay salaries, is obviously been impacted quite significantly. So we are seeing a lot of the unorganized sector shutting down, closing down their preschools. That's one phenomena that we see. We are also seeing a reduction in enrollments at preschools because preschools are not open. That's the second phenomena that we are seeing, which is impacting the health of the preschool industry. Having said that, we do know for sure that there is a very strong physical aspect of preschooling, which means that uh, across the country, we are seeing that with each stage of unlock being announced by the government, more and more people are slowly coming back to work. So in Maharashtra, for instance, till a few days back, it was 10% attendance. Now it has become 30% attendance. And we expect that come October, November, that 30% could go beyond 50% or maybe even reach 100% attendance. A lot of other states in the country are already allowing 100% attendance at private offices. When that happens, and when mom and dad start going back to work, then the importance of preschools as a place, as a safe and secure place where parents can leave their children, um, both from an education perspective as well as from a health and safety perspective, will continue, right? Which
Yeah.
means that I think governments will also start thinking about resumption of schooling and preschooling in the over the course of the next 2 to 3 months. Once that happens, then I'm sure we'll see government begin to roll out guidelines related to resumption of schools and preschools. And when that happens, I think as a chain, we will be ready to start resuming and start operating our preschools very quickly. And the way this will work is that we have already started working with various organizations and various and with various bodies to create protocols around preschool resumption, right? So
Okay.
now when parents start sending their children back to preschools, whenever the preschools are allowed to reopen by the government, there will be many concerns around safety, many concerns around hygiene, many concerns around security, right? So
Yes.
we have already created a set of resumption protocols related to reopening of first the admin offices inside the preschools. So this is related to sanitization. This is related to ingress and egress of people coming in and going out of the preschools. What are the protocols to be followed? What are the cleaning guidelines? What kind of cleaning consumables to be used? How often to clean the preschools? That has already been published to our entire chain of preschools, and we've also now in the process of finalizing our protocols related to resumption of preschools in the physical manner. So what will be of extreme importance when preschools reopen is that we are able to provide a safe and secure environment for parents to be able to leave their children in a preschool. And that's the entire
Okay.
emphasis that we are focused on right now.
Okay. Mrs. Seshasai, when we talk about experiential learning, because this is quite in trend right now, what do you think is the presence as well as the scope in preschools?
Well, experiential learning has become a buzzword right now, maybe, especially because the NEP talks about the importance of early childhood education. It talks about the, play-based methodologies for learning. But this has been a philosophy that EuroKids has always been following for the last 18 years or so that we've been in existence. And we've never followed the rote-based method of learning in preschools. our curriculum is always focused on experiential learning. There is a lot of play built into our learning. There is a lot of activities built into our learning, because we don't do sit in front of the child and uh, teach them to say the letter A, or teach them to say a numeral one in the conventional manner. All our curriculum is built around experiential learning only. And I think we are very happy to see the fact that the national education policy is echoing the philosophy that we've always believed in and that we've been executing in our preschools for so many years.
And what is the scope, do you think, for the entire preschool sector to to incorporate in this? Do you think it's for every toddler? Is it at par, or is it Euro kids are leading in this, or there's much to be done? What do you think?
So, if you're referring to the experiential learning, yes,
Yeah.
I think I would say that EuroKids is the second largest chain of preschools in the country right now, and
Mm-hmm.
we continue to be uh, experiencing strong growth even during the times of COVID. We have many new people who have approached us and want to become our franchise partners. Um, so the future continues to remain bright. We
Mm-hmm.
anticipate a strong rebound in the preschool space the moment preschools are allowed to open, because the custodial aspect of preschools is never going to go away, right? All the young
Yeah.
working couples who have preschool age children and who are effectively in nuclear families will need to find a place to put their child in when both of them go off to work. Yeah. And that
Yes.
aspect of preschooling is never going to go away. But when the child needs to be put into a preschool from a custodial perspective, parents nowadays have become very sensitive to the quality of the space, which means safety, security, location, interior quality, protocols, processes. And they've also become very, very sensitive to the kind of curriculum that the particular preschool provides. So that's where
Yes.
our strengths come in, because uh, for a very, very long time, even before COVID struck, we've been focused on safety and security. And we've been working with agencies like BVQI to roll out safe school protocols across all our schools and preschools. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we've also been now working with agencies like Diversity and other agencies to make sure that we have the best of processes related to safety and security inside our preschools. Our curriculum has always been cutting edge. So we've always been providing the best of experiential learning, best of activities, and best of content to our children, even before COVID has struck. And we've strengthened
Yeah.
our offering now with various online and offline offerings. So I think we expect to see a continued strength in the preschool space, and we expect to see our uh, leadership solidify and get even better during this phase. And post COVID, we'll expect to see a very strong rebound.
Okay. And coming to my last question, what are your plans ahead in this section, preschool section?
So in the preschool space, we have very ambitious expansion plans. Uh, we started the year with approximately 1,100 EuroKids preschools across the country. We are continuing to expand. We are continuing to acquire new franchisees even during these COVID conditions, and we will continue to expand into the top, the top 150 cities of the country quite aggressively during the course of this year and into the next year. So we
Mm-hmm.
have a clear plan for the next three
Yeah.
years, and our plan is to grow it to become the largest chain of preschools in the country.
Thank you so much. It was very nice talking to you. Thank you for your time.